All right, in this video, I'm gonna be showing you how I turned 2,000 followers into over $500,000 per year at 16 years old. I'm gonna be breaking down exactly our back-end revenue strategies, our paid ad strategy, our organic strategy, and our dialed fulfillment. So let's get right into it. The first step here is our back-end revenue, our revenue share, which makes up about 23% of our revenue. And it's kind of just encompassed of a bunch of different coaching offers, which we have 20, 30% profit or revenue share in, where we scale them up too. And so what's really good about this, and we have about 8 of these in total, is that it means that, let's say our ad account gets banned for our personal business, right? Okay, I still have 8 other businesses bringing us in revenue, right? So there's no real risk. Like it removes the risk. It gives us predictability that we need to scale, and also allows us to look at things and be like, okay, cool. You know, I can pour 50K into the business next month, and it's not like going to be a risk because I'm going to make, you know, about X from this partner and X from this partner and X from this partner, and we're on a Y month agreement. So it's really locked in and stable. And so with this in mind, it's very, very like, it's just very optimized, and it gives you that stability to redeploy that cash flow into paid ads. Now, if you're doing anything where you're helping people make more money, I would suggest taking some form of revenue share. Gives you predictability, and it's really exponential as well, because, you know, you're kind of like banking off the success of other people, which is a really good thing to do. Now we're going to come into our paid ad strategy, which is our acquisition for our like personal offer. All right. So 63% of our revenue came from our retargeting ads, and 37% came from the top of funnel. When it comes to retargeting, we only spent $1,249 across 4 BAB ads. These are called before, after, bridge. It's a copywriting framework. Let me break it down for you. So before, after, and bridge. Now, the reason why this works so well is because it gives contrast, right? So going before and then going after and talking about the time it took builds contrast to show, okay, this is where someone was, this is where someone was now after this amount of time, and then you've kind of captured attention, you've painted that desirable picture for the viewer, and now you can start talking about how the solution actually works. You can start talking about the USPs, you know, the different desired outcomes, all these different things, how smooth it was, how painless it was, how quick it was, everything like that. And so this is a proven format that's really desirable. And then at the end, we'll have a soft CTA where people would say, you know, follow them, okay? So we would run these ads to people who have, and this is the exact settings we use, so write this down, anyone who has visited this account's profile in the last 180 days, and then anyone who has engaged with this professional account in the last 180 days. That's exactly what we were running this on, nothing else. US, UK, and then the ages was like 21 to 27, and this has been printing money for us. Anyway, the reason why this works is not because of the individual BAB ad, but because of the cumulative effect. Because imagine you start seeing all these people talking about how you took them from the viewer's pain point, right, to the viewer's outcome in time. So at scale, you're seeing a ton of people talking about how they went from exactly what you're struggling with to exactly where they want to go in a short period of time with all these like desirable, quick, and painless attributes. And so at scale, this is insanely valuable because it builds that perception subconsciously that what you have to offer is better than anything else on the market, and it's exactly what you need. And this here is honestly why it generated 63% of our revenue, even though it had way less ad spend. Moving to the top of funnel, we spent nearly $6,000 across 4 different CRA ads. Now, this stands for cognitive response ad, and these are a bit more complex, but we basically engineer them to trigger a cognitive response inside of the mind of the viewer. How do we do this? We do this by leveraging mental shortcuts. So within someone's mind, there are mental shortcuts as we go about our everyday life. Because imagine how much harder it would be if your brain didn't do these auto shortcuts, these auto, you know, calculations for you. You have to be thinking about so many different things at once. So many different things at once from primal standpoint. If, you know, the exact location you're in is safe. If someone's trying to like attack you, like your brain has to be thinking about all these things at once. And so over time, our brains have evolved to kind of auto calculate things. And so with cognitive response ads, we leverage those auto calculations inside of people's mind. Okay. I'll give you an example so you know this isn't fluff, because I know a lot of people talk fluff in info. People view experts as experts, and people are more likely to listen to an expert than not listen to an expert. And what I mean by this is that if someone views you as an authority, they're not likely to logically run what you're saying through their brains. So that creates the shortcut. because people don't want to have to think, and it's a pain in the butt to think. And so if they can place enough trust in you because of your authority to where they don't have to think, then that's leveraging that mental shortcut, and that is a cognitive response ad. So what you'll notice about these ads is they're very authority based, because when we have that authority, we can then leverage being an expert, which means that we're leveraging people's brains, making the shortcut decisions and not having to think logically, but just doing, okay? Now these ads here all run to an Instagram follow. I'll get into this in a minute. I want to break down the creatives in more detail. This creative is a Miro board, which is kind of like the setup I have here, just breaking down the process, and it's using the AIDA copywriting format. Now this stands for attention, interest, desire, outcome, action. And it's my favorite personally because you literally capture attention, you build interest, then you build desire, and then you just have a call to action. Super simple. Same sort of thing for all these ads. You can kind of distill it into it, right? So we have authority, we have proof, then we have desire, and then we have action. Easy. We have authority, bang, 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 and attention, proof, and then we have like a curiosity builder for interest, and then action, and the desire is kind of built through the proof here. Same sort of thing. Call out, this is the attention. Bang, interest, organic got you here, but unique mechanism will get you here. Proof, bang, desire, action. So AIDA is really used in every single ad there ever is, and I would really suggest learning that, because that's how you're going to create killer ads. Anyway, we run all of these to an Instagram ecosystem where people follow, and the reason why people follow is because now they're subscribing to our daily stories, you know, our reels and our lifestyle content, our YouTube ecosystem, and all these other nurture mechanisms, which sets the stage for people to get extremely nurtured. Instead of sending people to a landing page or a VSL where, you know, it's basically burning cash because you see them once, if they don't like you, they're going to click off and never ever see you again. These people are consistently and reliably and predictably getting nurtured. And once again, this is on top of the retargeting ads that we run at literally 30% of our spend. That's what it's set at in the ads manager. Obviously, this actual spend will deviate a little bit. And then when it comes to your page setup, you want to have a lifestyle profile picture that looks authoritative. You want to be actually verified. When it comes to your bio, you want to have an authority headline. Once again, a lot of this is about authority, because when you have authority, like people always talk about authority, but no one tells you why. The reason why you want authority is because then you can leverage that one of many mental shortcuts which we implement for our clients in their ads. And so when you stack all these different mental shortcuts, it means that people are more likely to click, they're more likely to trust you, and they're more likely to convert. So we use authority to set the stage for that mental shortcut. And so that's why my bio is primarily authority based, right? I'm basically dropping my USPs. 76K, 16 years old, client results, who they're for, bang, unique mechanism, curiosity, and then CTA. Simple. And what do you see here? I have multiple result highlights. Why do I have multiple result highlights? To craft that perception and build that authority to once again leverage the shortcut. Because if you see multiple result highlights, you're going to perceive that I have a ton of client results, which I do, so you're more likely to actually trust me. Bang. From there, I want to tell you about how we actually convert them. So about 83% of my audience is 20K a month coaches. I took these screenshots from my business partner, Siggy. Check him out. He's a G. And you can see how many qualified people are following us from our ad. Literally, like as I'm telling you, 83% of our audiences are qualified. Okay. You can see how many verified and qualified people are following, and all these people are getting into this ecosystem where they're getting nurtured, and short term, we're going to go ahead and convert them with an appointment setter. So an appointment setter leverages one-to-one human connection, which builds trust, because nowadays AI and like marketing gurus have destroyed trust. Trust is at an all-time low. It's completely shattered. And so in order to build trust optimally, you want to leverage one-to-one human connection, because that is trust. And so obviously you can't sit in the DMs talking to hundreds of people per day, but what you can do is have someone leverage that for you, which is what we call an appointment setter. Appointment setters in here sounds exactly like us talking to our people who are following. This is Lyndon right here. You can see he literally followed from the ad, bang. Conversation was started with Lyndon with the appointment setter. Our appointment setter is a killer using pre-filmed voice notes in the M4A file format. So literally you can drag and drop them. They sound exactly like you because they are literally just pre-filmed by you, and they play like normal voice notes. He thinks he's having a conversation with voice notes to us, but in reality they're pre-recorded. We've all built out a flow. Jumped on a laydown sales call, my business partner Siggy, who handles all the calls. Bang, he paid in full 9.6K in literally 15 minutes, and he's already crushing it in 3 days, which leads us to the delivery, because delivery is really important and it's really crucial. I'll get into that in a moment. I want to talk about YouTube first, because what you'll notice if you're watching this is I post on YouTube every day for the last 30 days. And it's been really good, okay? I've gotten 164 subscribers. Oh, this is on 90 days, but things have really started to pick up. You can see in like the chart format, things are really picking up. And so I've gained 164 subscribers really realistically since starting this, because I wasn't really posting before that. And so 164 subscribers, when I look at my notifications and I click on the channels, they're like all qualified entrepreneurs. They're my ICP. And so 164 coaches is a lot of coaches for me, okay? That's 164 people subscribing to getting nurtured by my unique mechanisms, by all my client results, by my methodology, and eventually, whether it's now or a year from now, they're gonna convert. And you can see here that I have 400 returning viewers. So 400 people are literally coming onto my page and watching my content for 10, 20, 30 minutes and getting nurtured. I made a 30-minute long video yesterday, a podcast about myself with ChatGPT, and 40 people watched it. 40 of my ICP watched a 30-minute podcast of me talking to AI, which I had like pre-programmed with the exact questions I wanted it to ask me to have an output that would nurture people. That's how like that's just how important YouTube is, and I really suggest anyone doing it, and a high volume strategy is great. Now we come to fulfillment, because in order to have good results to post in the ads, in the stories, in the ecosystem, in the YouTube, you need to have good fulfillment. And so our fulfillment is the best in the space. And the reason why it's the best in the space is because we've structured it and we've synthesized the entire process of going from A to B, of going from before to after, in a sprint system. So we've literally synthesized it in a step-by-step process categorized in 6 sprints: onboarding, Instagram landing page, CRA ads, profile conversion process, microwave method, and scaling your ecosystem. We also have a dashboard with recurring tasks. I'm going to blur out these ones because they're really important, and I'll just give you an example of a recurring task that our clients are required to do, which is posting 5 stories per day. That's another benefit, by the way, of YouTube. You just saw I messed up, but I've gotten really good at speaking. I was terrible at speaking before, but after just a month of making YouTube videos every single day, it's literally 12:14 a.m. So I'm tired right now, and I'm bawling right now off this YouTube. It's really improved my speaking as well. Let me know in the comments if that is the case. Anyway, you want to post 5 stories a day. That's the task for the client. The frequency is right here. How to, so if they have confusion, they just click on it and there's like a full implementation guide on how to do that. And there's a checklist to show that they've done it for the day. Bang, all right? Now, within every single client, basically, within every single sprint right here, they then have every step. So with building an Instagram landing page, you have to build the messaging. And so when someone clicks on build the messaging, it opens up a guide to build the messaging with the loom on how to do it and then action steps. So instead of having a course, I built out an action implementation system where people are going through it, it's synthesized, and everything has an implementation. To proceed onward, you need to not only watch the video, but you need to implement all the custom action steps before proceeding, okay? And it's the same thing here. People literally earn calls with me. So in order to get a call booked with me, you literally have to actually go through and complete every single thing right here. You can see we have a "Are you eligible for this call?" where they have to complete every single thing and prove it to actually schedule a call to talk to me. Okay, so coaching calls are earned and not given, and they literally review real progress and not just ask you useless questions. So instead of the value being in the one-to-one calls with you, it's in the bulletproof roadmap system that you've set up, all right? Anyway, another example is that many modules are checklists and templates to make success as easy as possible and like implementatable, because we don't want to have a course. We want to just make it actionable. So you can see when setting up an Instagram landing page, right, which is what I showed you over here, it's just a checklist with actual how-to steps if needed. So it's very actionable, and in our backend, we have like a dashboard where we can see exactly where clients are at, what the status of it is, and we have a CSM in here. We just hired a CSM to really take care of things, follow up with clients, everything like that. So this is the system we've used to do 500K a year at 16. I'm gonna get that to 1 million a year really soon. Subscribe for more daily videos just like these. I'm literally breaking everything down here on YouTube for free. Actually, like how we're scaling these businesses and not just what we're doing, because I see on YouTube everyone tells you what they're doing. Everyone tells you, yeah, run this ad, do this, but no one tells you how to do it. What you would have noticed in this video is I broke down the exact copywriting frameworks. I broke down the exact ads we're running. I broke down the entire strategy and how we're actually doing it, which is invaluable. It might make me less money, but I think it's needed. I think no one else is doing it. Subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one. Peace.